Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of United Talks podcast. Today, we're basically going to be talking a bit about how Michael Carrick checkmated, defeated, cooked Mikel Arteta. We've been talking about a whole lot of things like for the past couple of days, and the fact that Man United defeated Arsenal on Sunday has not really gone down well with the Arsenal fans, and a lot of Man United fans are kind of enjoying the victory, right? But we have to talk about it. We have to talk about like all things that led to how Man United defeated Arsenal, what Man United did to defeat Arsenal, and how we got to that, and especially with what Michael Carrick did. So we have to talk about it. We have to kind of analyze it step by step and everything. There's been also some kind of talk within the fan base around how Michael Carrick defeated Arsenal, what kind of players what kind of players have not played for Man United, and the United way and all of those things. But it is what it is. We're going to just break down tactically, and then we can talk about other things like afterwards in other videos. So we're going to talk about the Carrick Code again for the third time, I believe. How the 4-2-3-1 of Michael Carrick checkmated Arteta's Arsenal. Now, before Sunday, Mikel Arteta had the mathematical certainty, right? And that's the first aspect of this video. Just basically, um, the demise of the system player. That's pretty much what I'm gonna call this, right? So, if Arsenal scored first at the Emirates, that's the mathematical certainty, right? They won. So they've gone 24 games. I've said this before. That's 24 actual wins, and it was a statistical law of nature. And when Lisandro Martinez's own goal hit the back of the net in the 29th minute, the system looked like it had won again, basically, more like the Arsenal system, yeah? But what we saw over the next hour just wasn't a comeback, it was a tactical execution. Now, while the world is obsessed about complex systems and inverted everything, right? Michael Carrick went back to the most dangerous weapon in football, structural simplicity, right? Today, we're not just talking about the goals. We're not just talking about, how we try to come back and everything. We're talking about the shadow pass. We're talking about the Zubimendi Trigger. And we're also talking about how MUFC and Casemiro just didn't compete with Declan Rice. They deleted him from the game. Basically, this is the tactical masterclass of how of the Arsenal 2-3 defeat to Manchester United, and how the 4-2-3-1 became the ultimate weapon against Mikel Arteta's 4-3-3. So welcome to United Talks podcast, and this is the fan reaction show. We're going to basically just be breaking down some tactical analysis. Probably going to see if we can create a show for it, just kind of like tactically talk about these kinds of things that we're just kind of reacting to it. But it is what it is. This is based on what we found out, it's based on what we observed watching the game. I went back to watch the game because at some point I think I missed the first half of the game. I went back to watch it again so I can better give you guys an analysis. I didn't watch the first half in real time, but I watched at least for the most part, like 80% of the second half in real time. So I could actually tell how Man United played. I heard that we didn't play well in the first half, but I didn't want to listen to anybody's analysis other than just to go watch it myself so I can actually give you guys genuine talk and thoughts. Now, we're going to talk about the first aspect of the game, which was the shape, especially with Michael Carrick. It was the 4-2-3-1 versus the Arsenal box, basically. So we're going to look at the board, basically. Arteta plays a 4-3-3, right? That's because that becomes a 3-2-2 3. So if you look at it, 3 at the back, 2-2, which makes it a box mid, and then 3 attackers in Saka, Gebre Jesus, and it was Trossard in the top front, right? And then in the midfield, they had basically Martin Odegaard. They had one of the midfielders, one of these right backs, one of the wing backs or full backs stuck in. So you had Martin Odegaard and Rice up top, and then one of the full backs tucked in, and that was Jurgen Timber, and at some point it was Hincapié as well, and then you had Zubimendi, right? But then Arsenal play that formation, and then when they go forward, there's this triangle that forms with the striker, one of the midfielders, and one of the wingers that forms on this side, and on the other side, the striker forms that same triangle, inverted triangle, with Trossard, Gabriel Jesus, who was also coming deep at some point, and Declan Rice. And then if the fullback goes there, it forms a 4 and they choke out that side. If the fullback goes up, it forms another 4 and they choke out this side. But that's how they play. It's just weird kind of thing. But yes, it's a structural thing. It's tactical, so you can't take it away from him. Now, like I said, they want to create a box in the middle with Rice, Odegaard, and Zubimendi, forcing you to stay narrow. So their wingers, Saka and Trossard, at that point would destroy destroy out wide, right? Take on you one-on-one, go down the line, create a chance, or probably get a corner, right? But under previous manager, Man United played a 3-4-3 system, and it left our wing backs in sometimes no man's land in some games, for and basically too far to help the midfield and too wide sometimes to help the center backs. So basically, you have to complement with the central midfielders, right? They have to do a lot of work as well while the fullbacks are recovering. Now, Carrick changed the geometry and he switched to a discipline 4-2-3-1, and he did two things basically in that system. He did the double pivot midfield, which with Casemiro and Zubimendi, who just didn't chase. They sat in the half space. When Odegaard tried to find those pockets between the lines, he didn't find those spaces because they found Casemiro most times. He's intercepting, and he also had Mainoo when he got the chance to also intercept. The second aspect of what Carrick changed was the fullback security. We did a video recently where we talked about what Carrick brings to Manchester United, what Carrick brings to this team. So the fullback security was another thing he did in that game, because basically he just adapted to how Arsenal were going to attack and then did better by outsmarting them. So because we had the back four, basically, Luke Shaw and Diogo Dalot never had to worry about what was behind them. They could actually get tight to maybe Saka, especially when Saka was on the right for Luke Shaw. Casemiro's brilliance was also his sliding support. The moment Saka touched the ball, Casemiro shifted 5 yards left, and then also Saka wasn't playing 1v1. That was what Saka was trying to do, and that's what Arsenal always trying to do, to get you 1v1 with the wingers. Or basically, at some point, he felt like Saka was playing 1v2 with Casemiro and Luke Shaw, and most likely at some point Licha Martinez or even Dorgu when he drops back. Now, the next aspect of this was basically the pressing trigger that really, really helped Arsenal. I wish I could show you some graphic, but we're going to work on something, and as I'm talking to you, I'll be showing you like on the tablet so you can actually get a sense of what is actually going on. But everyone is calling, so we're going to talk about the pressing trigger, and that was the Zubimendi Trap. In the last game against Manchester City before the Arsenal game, the pressing trigger and the trap was Max Allain, right? Max Allain. You put Bruno and Mbeumo next to Rodri, he doesn't pass. Then you make Mbeumo press on Max Allain when he gets the ball. That was what happened here. Bruno pressed on Zubimendi and Bryan Mbeumo. So what would I call this? So Bruno pressed on Zubimendi and Bryan Mbeumo pounced. That's the word. Now everyone's calling Bryan Mbeumo's equalizer a gift. It wasn't just a gift; it was the pressing trap that led to it. If you watch the footage back, Carrick didn't have the team pressing David Raya at all. He let the Arsenal centre backs have the ball, but the moment the ball was played into Martin Zubimendi, the trigger went off. Basically, that was what it was. Martin Zubimendi was the reason. When he touches the ball, that's the reason why Man United would get the ball. United moved from a passive mid block to an aggressive high press in 1 second. Bruno Fernandes pushed up, cutting the passing lane back to Saliba, and then Bryan Mbeumo also kind of acted his run to cut off the pass to the left back. Then Martin Zubimendi, for the first time this season, looked panicked a little bit, especially if Bryan Mbeumo was pressing on the right side or pressing on the left side. He didn't have the no-look option because Mainoo had already stepped up to shadow Declan Rice. So if you look at it, he didn't have the option to go across the field. He just received the pass from from Saliba, but then it felt like, you know, receiving that pass from William Saliba would have given him an opportunity to turn in the half space and find Jordan Timber. But he couldn't find Jordan Timber because Jordan Timber was also already blocked by Shaw. So when he got that ball from Saliba, he thought basically he could go back, right? And then basically the error of going back was the result of Brand Mbeumo getting the goal. And that was a result of a tactical, claustrophobia, something you can, choke out the opponent when you get the opportunity to. Now, we didn't win the ball because he was bad. We won it because Carrick identified him as the player who needs time to see the pitch. And Ruben Amorim, in his time when he played in the Europa League against Real Sociedad, when Martin Zubimendi was there, he was the weak link, and it was him that we used as the opportunity to actually get a chance, to press on them and win the ball and all of that. So these were the things that really, really, really happened, and all of that. So, Martin Zubimendi was the trigger, and Carrick identified him as the player who needs time to see the pitch. And we looked and we took that time away. Mbeumo's finish was clinical, but the goal was manufactured in the video room at Carrington. Basically, stifling them even after they thought they've had the lead after winning and all, after getting a goal through an own goal from this guy, the butcher, Licha Martinez. Now, the next section is basically the arcing runs, right, of Dorgu, like basically Dorgu's masterpiece, right? Let's talk about the second goal, Patrick Dorgu, basically that took us 2-1. The kid is 21 years old and he's just scored a goal of the season contender at the Emirates. And the truth is, that's a goal of the season, man. Look at the difficulty of scoring such a banger, man. But look at the movement before the strike. You had Carrick had introduced what we're calling the arcing wingers. Like I said, when we analyze what Carrick's style of play was from Middlesbrough, and we tried to analyze it from the last time he coached Man United in the Premier League, we could see a different type of way of playing with regards to the stay fullback and the fly fullback, right? Now, with the arcing wingers, usually wingers stay wide or cut on the right on a straight line, but Dorgu and Ahmad were doing something different. They were making C-shaped runs into the center of the pitch. Now, this confused Arteta's midfield. The question Declan Rice had was, does Declan Rice follow Dorgu inside, or does he stay to cover Bruno? For the second goal, Rice hesitated for half a second. That half a second allowed Dorgu to receive the pass from Bruno in the D of the area. Right, similar position where one time left back Patrice Evra had a shot against Bayern Munich and scored. When Dorgu hit that ball, it wasn't just power; it was the result of being in a unmarked zone. Right, by coming from the wide left starting position into a central right shooting position, he bypassed the entire Arsenal defensive structure. And with the 1-2-1-2, the Bruno Dorgu that we had, the woodwork is still shaking, but it's the moment that won the goal. Basically, the moment between that intricate passing in between and Bruno slamming that ball to the ground for him to just be able to still slam it as a half volley and a belter shot that led to that. Then, before we wrap things up, let's finish one more aspect of the game, which was the finish. I mean, Mainoo's ascendancy and Cunha's eyes, basically. And it was still that same intricate pass from Bruno Fernandes, flooring one of Arsenal's players. Go watch the video, you see the Arsenal player down. It was the 87th minute winner. 2-2, yes, the Emirates is a cauldron. When they got the goal, they were like, okay, let's go get another one, or let's hold this one and get a draw so we don't lose, and keep the unbeaten run. But most teams settle for the draw. Man United didn't. Look at Zubimendi. In the 86th minute, he wins a 50-50 duel against Mikel Arteta. Then, he doesn't just win it, he muscles him off the ball with strength that we haven't seen from him in a while. Now, this is the Carrick influence, teaching a creative player how to be a destroyer. It's not that we've not seen Zubimendi do these kinds of things before, but obviously we knew he had the talent and we believed that he was going to deliver. Now, Mainoo's pass to Cunha after Bruno got the ball and floored an Arsenal player was cute. Very simple. And Cunha on the half turn, took the ball. Basically, according to Mikel Arteta, that pass was cute. It was a perfectly weighted ball that just kind of exploited Arsenal's high line as they pushed for a winner. Now, Cunha, that finish, basically, man, that finish. Now, to have the audacity, obviously, we've seen multiple goals like that before in the past, but to actually have the audacity to curl it from 25 yards in the 87th minute of a title-deciding game, that's not just talent, right? That's clarity, basically. Under Michael Carrick, the players aren't overthinking. They know exactly where the space is. Cunha knew Gabriel Magalhaes was screening David Raya's. They're both David, right? David Raya's vision, and he used the defender as a human shield to hide the flight of the ball. It's kind of pure footballing IQ. And the truth is, one thing I've noticed and one thing I saw some analysis is that you don't let Cunha have that kind of space. You don't let Cunha have that kind of space. If you let Cunha have that kind of space, he's gonna pounce, especially in the area of the field where he got that shot, right? So to wrap this all up, this is the final section. To wrap this all up, I'm gonna call this aspect the resurgence. Is tactical, basically the tactical resurgence of Michael Carrick. 2 games, 2 wins. City at home, Arsenal away. Points. He's got 6 points and 5 goals against 2. So basically, played Arsenal, won them 3-2. Played Man City, got 2-0. So 5 goals, conceding 2, right? Now, Michael Carrick has proven that you don't need a year to implement a philosophy if you have a clear game plan. You're basically what we're trying to say is going back to default setting, right? Going back to default setting and playing it simple, not trying to alternate things, not trying to alternate things or change things. He has balanced the team. He used the players, that he has available to him without expecting maybe to play a very strict system that requires specialist players, right? He has given Bruno the opportunity to actually go for up top after him not being able to do that a couple of years now. But still, Bruno is the chief chance creator in the team, whether playing deep or playing forward. And he has given Mbeumo a role, the false 9 role, he has given the fans the pride back. Now, the 4-2-3-1 isn't basically the old fashioned. It's like basically what had come of age in the last couple of years, but it's masterclass in spacing and accountability. Arsenal came for the coronation and they left with a tactical lesson. Now, my question to you, before I ask this question, the fact is, so many things that Ruben Amorim did with this team for the last 14 months are beginning to yield fruit. They are beginning to yield fruit. But we also had a sad news earlier that Patrick Dorgu was injured, and we're going to kind of find a way to create a video to analyze what happens next after this Dorgu injury. Now, the 4-2-3-1 basically has come to stay, but it's not really a 4-2-3-1 on the pitch. It's what you see that makes you think it's a 4-2-3-1 on the pitch, right? It is different. Now, like I said, the 4-2-3-1 has come to stay. And Cunha and the Carrick era is here. In as much as we want to deny based on the fact that obviously we expect him to do even better, but the Carrick era is here. We can't deny that. And it is built on the silent conductor's blueprint, right? Now, my question to you all, viewers, is this. What was the most impressive tactical tweak for you? Like, was it the Zubimendi Trap or the way we handled Saka? I mean, let's have a conversation in the comment section. I've been seeing all your comments. Let's argue about it in the comment section. Is it all that? And then also, don't forget to like, share, subscribe. hit the notification bell so you don't have to miss anything as relates to Manchester United. Put in the comment section what you thought about the game and what was your favorite tactical plan that Mikel Carrick had. Mikel Carrick had so many things going on. If we're going to break down all of those things, we're going to spend more than an hour trying to analyze how each and every aspect of the game happened with his tactical master plan and all of that. Yeah, also another thing that's been coming to mind is that some Man United fans have been talking and asking questions about Benjamin Sesko not starting because maybe Mikel Carrick is biased, or asking questions about him not starting Aiden Heaven or Lenny Euro or anything. Basically, this is just 2 games. He hasn't even started anything. There's 15 more games to go, and there'll be games to go around. There will be games to go around, definitely. Anyway, just let me know your thoughts and feelings in the comment section. In as much as we want to make things happen, it is one thing to celebrate, but basically we have to take every opportunity to do so, because if we had lost the game, I probably believe that we could have it would have been bad. But then Mikel Carrick didn't just implement this alone. That's the one thing. Just to kind of end the video, Mikel Carrick didn't just implement this alone. There is a certain Steve Holland. He is the tactical brain behind United's new defense, especially when it comes to our shape and structure in the approach to the game. Steve Holland has been key to that, and we talked about him in other videos, but we're going to do a deep dive basically into how he approaches the game and how he has helped Manchester United. But we're going to keep doing this as we go, basically, maybe just to kind of, give us a better understanding of how we approach this game. But yeah, we have to react to what we saw, and then eventually, like I said, probably create a show called the Tactical Master Plan or something that led to, when we get the chance, we analyze games. But when we can't, we move on to other things. But yeah, let me know your thoughts and feelings in the comment section. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you don't have to miss anything as relates to Manchester United. I'll see you on the next one. Take care, goodbye, and God bless.